Hey, what's up, you guys? Pablo here, back in Ark, and I had somebody ask me to go over the settings I had for my single-player profile. So I figured I'd make that real quick, because that's a quick, easy video that I can complete and get uploaded. So, difficulty, levels of the creatures, I have that up all the way. I started off with it at default, which I believe is 0.2, and just slowly moved it up until it got to 1, because you don't see that big of a difference, because you have to, again, I'm pretty sure you have to kill all the other dinos for ones to spawn in, but so I got that all the way up, and I honestly don't know if I have something else unclicked, if this would bring them up to 150, or if you don't need this. We'll get into that later, sorry. So this stuff's all default, just 1. How much damage we do, how much damage we take. I do have the XP multiplier. As I said, I normally go, if you look on the right, Ark News, Evolution Event, 2 times Taming, XP, Mating, etc. So I usually follow that. So it's just, I don't know, for whatever reason. Now Taming I do have at 5 times because it's whatever. Nothing's gonna come. Really, no players are going to come hinder my ability to tame, so it's no sense having me sit there for hours, because it's not like I can leave and let a teammate or a tribe mate finish it up. Structure cooldown, turret damage, dino harvesting, that one's at 3.2. I don't know why, it's weird. You'd think everything would have a default of 1, but I guess this one is, I don't really know if it's compared to how much we do, since ours is at 1. Or I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. Like I said, would make sense to me is everything would start at 1 and you just go from there. Because this is, I mean, this one's a duration, so 180 seconds. But yeah, so that's just a default one. I do have harvesting up to 3, so I don't have to grind quite so much. Water drain, food drain, dino drain, stamina. All this is all default at 1. Dino count, I forget where that starts. I spawned it all the way up, trying to get more dinos to spawn in. These settings are mostly for if there's more than 1 person, which at the moment there's not. Admin logging, you have to have this checked to be able to do console commands. Like when I had to give myself everything back in the tribe to myself. Crosshairs, you can make it so there's no HUD, so you can never see anything. I don't think you can see your health. I haven't played with this. I think it's literally nothing on your screen. Disable loot crates, that would be weird. But it would be a difficult thing, because you'd only be able to get the stuff you craft, so there would be no mastercraft stuff. There'd be no blueprints. That'd be a completely different way to play, which could be fun. Hardcore mode, that's if you die, you're back to level 1. Again, could be a fun one. PvE doesn't really matter for us. Friendly fire doesn't matter. This I could click to show where I am on whenever I bring up the map. But again, it's whatever. This is for downloads if I wanted to switch to another server. So I have that, so whenever I do make my way over to Scorched Earth and all those, we can bring ourselves, our character, and our dinos. Maximum difficulty. This is the one, forces max dino level to 150 regardless of map. At one point, the island was just set to 120 to be the max. Well, Scorched Earth and then the center were at 150, but then they changed it, supposedly. It's really hard to find information online because a lot of this stuff is from a couple years ago when it was in beta early on, and it was in beta for a long time, but it's just hard to get anything confirmed. But so this sets it to 150. So again, I don't know if that very first setting that was difficulty, if we could have that at 0.2 and still have this to force them up to 150. But so I just put them both at on, so no doubt in my mind that obviously we are finding 150s, and that's in my mind the easiest way to make sure you get them. Have them both set up. adjusting gamma, I've had to do that. Single player setting. This one I'm not entirely sure of. Modifies various internal statistics to support a faster-paced survival experience for a lone player or small group, which is me, so I use it. I don't know exactly what it does. I probably could look it up, but yeah, whatever. I'm thinking it probably gives a little XP boost. Maybe some of my damage and resistance. So you could stack that, like, so if I get a little bit of XP bonus for using this, it'll stack with my 2 times XP anyway. Again, I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't seem to, I don't know, we still got killed by a level, I don't know, 10 trike way back when, so it's not like it makes it too OP if you just aren't playing cautiously. Corpse Locator, they added that to the default, I believe. It's even in the PvP servers, last I checked. This I started with, I got rid of it just so everything I built would be able to be built on PvP. I might turn it back off later when the next base, so I can try and do some cool stuff, or just some different stuff, make it a little easier. I think you'll be able to build. You won't get that red notification if the land comes up a little too high and it says it's blocked. I think you can just place the foundation anyway, but not entirely sure. Multiple platform floors. Again, we got the Quetzals, but unless you have, that's a different one. Unless you have the multiplier to increase the amount of items you can put on a platform, this I feel like is pretty useless, because like a Quetzal, I think you can fit 44 items on or something. It's not very many, and so to have multiple floors with only 44, it's just gonna be like a 1 square thing. I don't know. Unlimited respecs. I've had this clicked since the beginning. Mind Wipe Tonic normally you can only do once per level. I haven't used any yet, so it hasn't really affected anything. And this would just make it so no dinos at all, which they have some official servers that play that way, which is a much more difficult thing. PvP, this is all PvP and PvE stuff, which doesn't affect us. You can have like wars and stuff between tribes that are on an agreed upon time. You can check this to allow in building in caves if you select PvE on the other menu. You can build in caves. This would be, where's the one? I guess it's further down. This you would prevent people from building where there's a lot of metal and stuff like that, so they can't just despawn items. Not let it respawn. Structure decay, that's all like PvE stuff that which is why PvE official servers are so laggy, because people will log in, build a foundation, leave, somebody else goes in, they can't destroy it for 7 days, so there's just all these buildings that can't be destroyed, because you can't take a dino in and destroy it, or you can't blow it up with grenades because it's PvE. So that the servers are super laggy because of that. This is all just the decay period but again, it's single player, so I can just destroy my own stuff if I don't want it anymore. Prevent diseases, nah. Force allow cave flyers, so we could bring a Pteranodon in and ride it. You can still bring them in, you just can't ride them once they're in there. So like I think we had a Fortune in with us when we were getting the Dung Beetle. This you can put spikes and turrets back on. They used to be able to put like turrets on Quetzals and stuff, and that was too OP. So they got rid of it, but in single player you can make it so you can, which we don't have it. This would just be increase after you die. It'll be longer before you can respawn in PvP. Offline rate protection, that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This is all PvP stuff, which doesn't affect us in the least. So, this is the imprinting buff. Allow anyone. There's nobody else in here, so it wouldn't matter how often characters can poop. The egg interval. This is the one that confused me, because I read higher numbers increase, and I stopped reading. I was like, oh, higher numbers increase the amount of eggs that'll be laid, and I set it up to like 3, and no eggs were being spawned, and I was super confused. And then I came back and read it again, and it says higher numbers increase by percentage the time between eggs spawning / being laid. So you have to go the opposite way, because you don't want to. Higher numbers will increase the gap between the eggs, so you want to shorten the gap. But you got to read. That's what you need to do. Mating interval, again, is how long lower numbers decrease the interval between which dinos can mate. So again, I might just read into things overly, and I don't know, but to me that makes it seem like you would want it on a lower number, but it's just because lower numbers decrease, and you're just like, oh, okay, but it's 50% sooner, so that's twice as long. It's really, their wording, at least to me, the way I read stuff and process stuff, it's super confusing to me why they've done everything this way. Some stuff, to make it faster, you have to go less. Sometimes you have to go higher. Like, for more eggs, we went under 1. For quicker mating between, like, from when the mother gives birth to when she can be mated again, you need to go higher. I don't, like I said, I don't know wild card. But so, egg hatch speed, higher numbers decrease the time needed to fertilized eggs to hatch. Again, it would be so much easier if it was just like higher numbers make it everything longer or more. Everything under 1 is shorter or less. I don't know, but again, so I do have this at 5 times just so I don't have to sit there waiting for an egg to hatch, because I forget how many hours it is with a Quetzal, but I can't log off and just leave it, because when I log off, the egg stops hatching, and so I have to spend a lot of time doing that. Baby mature speed, again, I have that turned up because I can't let it run in the background. I'd have to leave my PlayStation on, and it just doesn't work. But the food consumption is normal. Harvest health, we could increase this and get more resources. Like, if we put it up to 2, trees would last twice as long. We'd be able to hit them twice as many times before they got knocked over and there was nothing left. So this, coupled with our harvest strength, coupled with harvest amount, you can get some crazy stuff. Like one swing and you'll get like 2,000 wood. It's crazy, because then you can't move. So resource respawn. All right, back to baby cuddle interval. I set this back to 1, back to default, because I think this one works with the mature speed. So I think as long as you don't touch this, the amount of cuddles / imprinting times you need to do it is based off this number. So you can, I thought at first, like, oh, if I'm doing 5 times mature speed, I'd want to do cuddle multiplier times 5 as well, so it stays in sync. But this multiplier times 5 made it so I didn't get a single imprint because it was 5 times more. So again, I think this one you need to bring it down. More often means the player will need to cuddle more, but I think the number needs to be lower to get more imprinting quality. But as long as it matches up to getting 100%, that's really what you want. So then this is just a grace period for how long after delay before the imprinting quality starts to decrease, how much of a quality decrease it is, and then how much of a boost you get when you do imprint. But these are all just on normal. I went back through actually recently because, like I said, I messed with them, and they're just they're all multipliers, so it's not just it's a running off of something else. That's why it's a little confusing, at least to me. Day cycle speed, so I slowed this down so it changes from day to night and night to day slower. Each day lasts longer. I coupled this with, it's almost half. So the days last twice as long as nights. So I have this down so days last longer. Lowering this value increases the length of each day. So days last twice as long as nights, because nights are super annoying to record in because everything's so dark, and then it's even darker on YouTube. And it's my preference to have more time in the day to record, so I don't have to sit here and wait for day to happen. So normally this is, I think, just 1, 1, and 1. This could go back to 1, it wouldn't really matter, but it's just stuff lasts a little longer. Spoil time, that's stuff spoils obviously, but its default is 0. But you could push this up to make things spoil quicker, I guess, or take more time. I don't really know where you go from 0. Composition corp, nothing changing there. These are the radius that resources will spawn around players and structures. So like you can make it so you build a base, and then I honestly don't know which way to slide it. I've never done it, but you can make it so like trees and everything grow right up against your base, and it's kind of hidden in the world again. Everything that you've harvested will regrow, or you can make it so nothing grows around you without having to throw up foundations everywhere. Growth speed, growth decay. Now wild dino stats per level. This stuff's all default because it's just the amount of stats a dino will have out in the world. Tamed ones, again, this works with added per level. So this is its base per level as you get it, and then this is as you add a level to it, it'll have a multiplier, which again are all at default settings, which you can mess with however you want. You can make it so wild dinos have like 50,000 health. Like a wild dodo would have 50,000 health if you mess with this multiplier enough, or make it so, you know, Lystros, everybody's super fast. I don't know, but it's not like a specific dino, it's everything across the board. So just I leave it at default. And then what's next? Affinity, I think. So this is the amount of bonus that you get after you tame a dino based on the taming effectiveness. So again, this is set to default. It's just how much you get when you get a good tame. Now player stats I have at all 2, because in a previous episode, like I said, it was my way of getting beyond level 100. You cap out at 100, so you don't have any more points to put in. If everything gets 2 times the bonus, when we hit level 50, which we did recently, we have all the points that we had from our original 100, and then we'll have another 100 worth of points from 51 to 100. I hope that makes sense, and that's why I'm doing this. So once I hit 100 again, if I want to go through the reclaiming everything, I'll set this back to 3. Reset my character to level 1, and once we hit 66, we'll have a character with the amount of points as if they were a level 200, and have 67 to 100 to get another 100 worth of points because of the way it's just... Hope that makes sense. But basically this is a way for me to get beyond level 100 and just make a stronger character, because I don't know, I'm trying it. But also you can, if at any point I put this back to 1, our character will get, all the character stats will retroactively go back to 1 times. So if I end up with like 10,000 health, 60,000 HP, or 60,000 stamina or something, because I've messed with these stats, I can just come in and put these all to 1 and it'll go back to normal. So this is what I might have to mess with when I go into fight like a boss. I can mess with my tamed dinos levels, and yeah, this. I could put all the health way up, so then if I have some high level Rexes, they would have like 300,000 health, and I can beat it, but which is probably what I'll do rather than doing God mode, because it's a little more legit. Experience modifiers, again, you can change this, so overall you get more, but this, I'm already getting 2 times XP. It's just more settings to make it whatever. Doesn't matter. I tried setting this to like 1,000,000, and it still won't let you go above 100, so. This is so stuff will, not in the tribe, will just slide off. So spikes will hit stuff that's not. Oh, we do want this. I guess I don't even have spike walls, but wild Yeah, we want that. Allows, we don't want that. Damage, custom recipes. I do want to be able to tame a Titan if I can, Titanosaur. I do have these turned up just to make it whatever. Oh, I thought that used to be a 1.46. I must have slid that at one point and changed it. When I was messing with these. It's supposed to be at like 146 if I remember correctly, because it was again one that I thought was super weird. Like, why is that not just at 1? I don't know though. But and again, this is where you would increase the amount of structure so you can put on a platform. So you can make some crazy boats, crazy Quetzals, crazy Brontos, but I just have it at default. So those are my settings. I don't know. That actually was more in-depth for all of them rather than just showing you them. But hopefully it was helpful, and I don't know. Hope you enjoyed it. But I'll see you in there.